Hello and welcome to the 10th episode of the No Recoil podcast, the only Samurai Shodown podcast that we know of. I'm here joined by my wonderful friends in the community, Frosty Zoll,
Yo, yo.
Disorder Unit,
Hey, what's up?
Tao,
The past, the present.
Kelly Ann,
Hey, everybody.
and Royal Cycle.
Yo, what's good, everybody?
Alright, we will potentially be joined by Maki a bit later, unfortunately. He got bodied by work 10-0. That's how it goes. But, so
unfortunately.
for those in the know, we had a very special weekend recently, for the first time in quite a few years since pre-COVID. There was a SNK World Championship event qualifier for Samurai Shodown, and it happened this past weekend at Frosty Faustings in Lombard, Illinois, one of the big four majors, foremost events for the past few years now. It was a pretty big deal. Got a lot of eyes on the game. Got some viral clips and spicy moments out of this that I'm sure we will get to. And yeah, everybody got together, had a great time, and yeah, we'll have a great night in store for us recapping that. So thanks everybody for joining, for taking time out of your Sunday. It was great to see you all. And yeah, let's get down to it.
Yeah, likewise.
Yeah. Likewise, exactly.
Nice. Let's get it.
So I don't know if anyone has like an opening thought to sort of want to get down with, or if anyone wants to like throw their hat in the ring here, or, like take lead on.
Topic?
Yeah.
Well, the first night we had pizza. That was
We
pretty
did.
good.
It was really good.
Oh,
I
yeah.
think everyone have deep dish as like a tradition, because I know that you guys have Giordano's, but in Canada there is no deep dish pizza chain, so you cannot buy it retail anywhere really. So every time I'm in Chicago, I make a point of it.
Yeah.
It was cool. It lasted us like the whole weekend. That pizza.
Yeah, well,
was
yeah, it
still
lasted about 2 days. We were there for 3.
Mhm.
It was really worth the money.
Yep.
That's
Yeah.
right.
The only thing is like I felt like we should have. I know we couldn't have made it work with the scheduling, but I feel like it's better when it's not delivered, because it was like a little soupy for some reason. Like, and it was kind of slanted, right?
Yeah, it did get tilted.
Yeah, it was a little weird.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was good. I've decided I don't really like the spinach one that much. I don't know. I don't know why. It's not like it's bad, but
I feel like the meat you just get, it's more hefty, and it kind of goes in with, you know, the amount of cheese that is there too, and the crust. Maybe that's it's. I mean, not that the veggie wasn't, the spinach one wasn't filling, but you definitely get your money's worth out of the one with more meats in it, I guess.
yeah,
That's
well,
how I
the
feel.
authentic ones have the Italian sausage, like the ones they make in Chicago, and Lou Malnati's is like one of the bigger local brands, so they like make a point of that.
Mm.
And the
Okay.
Lou doesn't have that because it's no meat.
I was wondering about that.
So I'll just give some of my thoughts on this event overall. So obviously this is a pretty unique one for many reasons. This was been the first year for a few years. Unfortunately, we weren't a main game, so
Yeah.
the vibe was a bit different for sure. And that kind of has an effect on sort of like a strategic effect, because it affects like how you approach playing in pools. Like that itself is like part of the fight is fighting against pools, right? We had not very much space. That room is pretty infamous. Like I knew,
Oh gosh.
yeah, it was rough in there. There was like not much space to move, even just to like go to the washroom or go around the perimeter. It was really hard. Even like the dead hours, right? It was really loud in there. It was distractingly loud. Like I knew like I had my own headset and I knew I could have put it in the TVs, right? Because
Mm-hmm.
this is also part of the matter, right? Like whether or not to use game sound or to just play with the external environment has a big impact. So I knew I brought like I have these really powerful noise cancelers that I got recently. So I brought those just in case, and but I also brought like the 3.5 millimeter part of it, so I could add my extender, so I could have plugged into the TV if I wanted to. But like I knew it was so loud in there that if it wasn't like active noise canceling, it would have like messed with me. So I chose to play with white noise the whole weekend. And I think it paid off because like I was able to focus a lot better than I thought I would. And it's
So
interesting because, sorry.
So you just had your headphones on to block the noise, basically.
Yeah, so I didn't have game sound because like you can't really Bluetooth your game sound without like using proprietary like a headset made for Xbox, and then it's like, well, it's not technically, I guess not technically allowed. So it's like weird, right? And in the like stream and stuff, they have their own audio setup, so you can't really like mess with that or assume that you'll have access to your own equipment. So like the easiest thing to do, it works everywhere, is to just like bring a headset with Spotify. And I knew that, and there's like a couple of the tournaments where I had to do that, like that SBO style tournament at Evo Japan. I actually did the same thing because they didn't have any audio setup. So like they didn't have any like player audio. So if I tried plugging it into the computer, right? And when I did that, I got rid of the sound from the stage, so I couldn't do it that way. So I was just like, yeah, whatever. I'm just gonna use my noise cancelers, right? It's just like most of the time I've played with game sound, so anytime you deviate from something that you're more used to, it's like you're taking a bit of a risk, because like anything you change even a little bit, it could affect you, right?
Yeah, that's a definite, I guess you could say on my end. I didn't have sound for a good majority of things. Like I was just relying on I couldn't find the input. It was like in a stupid spot on the back of the end zone monitors, which I don't like very much at all. But it did have volume coming out, but it's so weak and it was so loud in there. That's all I was really relying on.
Yeah.
So there was a point when I did what you did. I just put my headphones on just in general to block all the noise. But it definitely is not what I'm used to in general. I'm not. I always play with my audio. It's there's a lot of audio cues, especially in Sam Show, that really help my gameplay, if anything. But I just stuck to it.
Something I struggled with. It's not like you can't react anyway, but like feeling your just defense, it's definitely a little harder, and that kind of affects how you want to play it a bit when you don't have that feedback. And it's definitely like, I feel like taking your turn from buttons, right? Like you just feel a slash better when you can hear it. It's definitely like has an effect, right? Like when people are just trading slashes, ding, ding, ding. It's like you can feel
the sound gets me pumped. The sound of the game literally gets me pumped, and it gets me like really hyped to play. And I forgot my headset in one of my matches, and I started playing, and I said, "Wait, I don't have my headset." But obviously, whatever, I had to play. But Yeah, I am a sound player. I need the sound.
Yeah. Well, I mean, the game has like great sound design, right? It's like
Yeah.
a big part of the game, and even just like not for like reactions, but just like for like a fun thing. Like to
Yeah.
just not have it, it's a little disappointing, right?
Yes.
Yeah, especially when that's how your natural environment. You know, you can hear everything that's going on in the game. But yeah, it's definitely pretty tricky in that space there. And then Friday, we kind of had to fight a little bit to get some space for Sam's show.
Oh
Yeah.
yeah, oh that was annoying. Yeah, we got there and we were like, okay, yeah, there's no official BYOC. Well, it's like, well, there was last year, and you didn't tell us, you didn't say that anywhere. So it's like, well, that's kind of a big deal. Like people kind of, this is kind of the major where people come and play and do
Yeah.
random crazy stuff. So when you don't have a BYOC, it's like, well, kind of takes away from things a bit. Like I kind of don't want to make everybody go to a hotel room.
Yeah.
Seriously.
You got to warm up somewhere, like just to, play, get your feeling for everything, and going cold turkey without doing that is kind of, weird. We made it work, but it was
Yeah.
kind of a task.
We sort of made it work. That room was a little unpleasant, if I'm going to be completely real, because it was the finals room for Vortex Gallery stuff.
Yeah.
It was incredibly loud all the time. It was rough in there.
Yeah, we had to share it with the cosplay too, so.
Yeah. Definitely a little more pleasant last year. We had lots of table space and we were just hanging out. We got a lot of time in on the game last year.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
Even this year, we did eventually, I'd say at Friday, we played casuals for like, on like 8 hours or something once we did get set up, which was pretty cool.
Yeah, we did get a fair amount in. So I guess I don't get to say
Yeah, we did.
we didn't play that much because we did. It's just like,
Yeah, no, it didn't feel like we did in a weird way. But then I looked at the clock and was like, oh my God, we've been doing this for a long time.
Yeah.
Yeah, I felt like should have took some time away and explored a bit, but I was so obsessed with getting as adapted as possible that I didn't really give myself any time to explore the event. Like I could have gone to Paradise Arcade because they have some stuff that like obviously anything you get like you have to have it shipped, right? And that's annoying because you have to pay for it and you have to wait. For me, I'm in Canada, so it makes it a bit harder. But like they have those blue Sonway inserts, the new ones, the ones where you can swap the little gates. I use a blue gate, like it's a rounded square, so it's got little grooves. So I put them at the top and bottom, and they help my half circles because you go along the groove. It's very useful.
Really?
Yeah, it's
you gotta
very
you gotta post that later. I wanna look at what you're talking about.
Yeah. Yeah, because they came out with like the new JLX, like Songwa's new line. So the JLX comes with that gate, and then the gate has an insert that's color coded to a like octa, semicircle, square, and semi-square. So there's 4 colors. And I just was like walking around Evo Japan. I was like, hey, that looks cool. I'll buy it and I'll just try it. I was like, wow, I like how this feels, and I just kept it in there like indefinitely. But I have like only one. I have like 8 sticks. So.
Oh, you want another one, right? Like. Yeah.
Yeah, I just didn't really give myself time, but it's kind of how it
Yeah,
goes.
It's kind of a big deal.
Like a couple times. The big giant room with Guilty Gear and Street Fighter and stuff. I think I was in there for a total of like 45 seconds. It was cool. Just yeah, same thing. I was kind of hanging out by the side games area most of the time.
It's hard to get through security every time to like check out the big rooms. Unless you leave your
Yeah.
bag every time.
Yeah, having to go out through security and then back in through separate security. A little bit.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was pretty cumbersome. It's like getting a little frustrating. Because it's like, it's so like facile, like they don't even do really a good check. And it's so obstructive.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. I had a
Just
lot
look
of
at-
gear.
Just look at
Yeah.
And it's like,
just look down like
yeah, I know it's like, it's not even effective because I smuggled in like loads of granola bars and stuff and Red Bull, so it's like,
Bananas. Yeah.
Yeah.
Man.
just cheated their system
Yeah.
anyway. And it's like, if somebody brought in something dangerous, clearly it's not their goal to try to catch that. And like, I always notice that they're super anal about it at like the start of the weekend. Then later in the weekend, they just stop caring because they just want to make a show of it at the start to make it look like they're on point. Right?
Mm-hmm.
So it's like
Uh,
getting pretty annoying. Like, I actually
That's
believe
also-
if they just didn't have it there, it wouldn't make a difference, but they're not going to do that. So I don't know.
It's mostly just like
Yes.
dissuasion. Just like the hassle of it will hopefully put people off bringing in, contraband or whatever.
Yeah.
Mhm.
yeah. That's scary.
So, as far as the bracket goes, just as far as like mindset and prep goes, this one was definitely a little different than how things have been in the past. So, obviously, this
Yeah.
was an SWC qualifier. So,
Yeah.
that definitely affected how people approached it. My mentally, it was definitely a bit of a different feeling. The biggest thing was that I was not super confident about this one. Like, I know, like, I've been having a pretty good run if you just look at the results, but like, on a player level, right? It's not really about the wins, per se. It's like, I could beat Cypher in random sets how many times, or whoever else, and it's like, it's cool, but like, what you actually should be looking at yourself is like, as a player, where you are, what you stand to benefit from, how much of control of the game that you have, and I just didn't really think I was in that good of a spot. Like, putting it all together, like, I knew the holes in the game were there. I knew they were obvious, but I just couldn't like contextualize how to put it together and how to actually fix those things. And like, I had the idea sort of on like the tip of my tongue, but I didn't put it together in a way that I knew was like confident enough, right? Because there's like, people tend to play in their comfort zones for the sake of the win, right? And not like reinvent the wheel. And I really like struggled with like trying to put myself in a better position versus like doing what I did that worked. And it like really came to bite me. I was like on the edge of death at this one. And I knew it would be like this. Like, I knew the way the tournament, I just felt it in my bones. I knew the way it went, and I knew the way people were playing. I knew that it would be exactly as hard as it was. That wasn't just something I made up in my head. Because if I just waltzed in like I did at Combo Breaker, like at last year's Frosties or whatever else, I would have lost. Period. And part of it's like, as far as the improvement arms race goes, I knew that I was being caught up on, and I knew that the shtick, it wasn't working. It wasn't like going to cut it per se. Like I can kind of stop going burr, right? We're kind of at the point where like I didn't have this inherent advantage by default. Like people are obviously had a huge target on my back, loads of odds. People very specifically labbed against me. They know all my habits. They know what I'm not good at. And I knew that the biggest tip off that I knew that it wasn't going to be like previous was the way Maki's been playing since FG Charity. Like, I was kind of in, like, just the way things have been going. Obviously, like, I'll get to this, but like this, Maki as well as other people, this has been like a big part of like my mental space going in. You know, like it was like, you know, right before Evo, I was like, okay, well, he's gaining on me. Looks like it's pretty even. And then for a very long period, like up till the end of November, it was like, okay, well, it looks like that wasn't really true. And it looks like I'm like a step ahead of him, so to speak. And we had a long period, like before December, where he kept asking me for first to tens. Because he wanted to iron it out, and it was like all of them were pretty convincing. And like, you know, the holes are there, right? Like he's not taking his turn. He doesn't really have that much offense. He's not taking his turn back effectively. He doesn't have, like, he's not blowing up my Aberray at all. He's always panicking on defense. He's always up backing. As soon as he's in a bad situation, he's just like raw backdashing for nothing and like cornering himself. It's kind of like, you know, it was just clearly like sometimes when people ask you what's wrong, you can just explain. I was like, okay, well, he asked me and I explained it. It's like, well, I don't know. So like it's just not really there, right? Like I'm just a cut ahead. And then I don't know what the hell he did after FG Charity, but he ironed everything out. He like something about like after they announced the qualifier, it was so obvious. Every single thing he like figured out. Like he wasn't playing perfect, but like every single hole that I thought was there, it was all of it was like patched out, right? He was holding me accountable for all my stuff. Like I couldn't just raw jump like a monkey, right? He was big impact based. Something I really struggled with. He was raw punishing my recoil window on my 6-6A because mine is 12, right?
Mm-hmm.
And that's something I know is a thing in the meta, and I know should be at presence, right? And it's not something I've taken that advantage of, but like, you can't assume somebody won't be optimal or won't react. And it was getting to the point where I could no longer press in with 6-6A without risking that. So I really struggled to try to find a way to play around that. And like, I had some solutions in my head, right? But I could only put them to work in specific scenarios, like for the times he was in lobby. And other than that, it's just like I had to go up and hope for the best in bracket. Like I don't have like, that's a thing, right, that makes it so hard with this game, is that you just can't play matches that much, right? Like you can't play when you want. You can't play specific people when you want. You can't play certain characters when you want. So it's like everyone has a plan until they get punched in the mouth, right? You think you have it figured out, and then you get into the game and you don't react to the things that you expected to, or the in context the solution you thought of doesn't work the same way. And it was very like playing blind, right?
Yeah, if I'm gonna say the story of the bracket was pretty cool. And I was actually, I visited with my sister yesterday and hung out with my roommate the day before that. I told them both like the story of the bracket because it was like pretty cool. It was like a cool story.
Mhm.
But yeah, I remember Friday we were playing casuals all day, and then out of nowhere, Royal Psycho comes over, gets in some games, is like shocking me and everyone. We're like, where did this come from? Because he was really kicking ass. And then kind of set the stage for the following day, where Scrub and Royal Psycho met in winners finals of that pool, and the unthinkable happened, which is pretty cool. And then yeah, the story goes from there. It was awesome, really exciting as a spectator.
Yeah, I mean that was a big moment of note, right? Or at least one of them.
Right.
Yeah.
The thing is, like,
pretty-
while Maki made that adjustment, mistake was I didn't assume Royal also could have done the same thing. So it's also where it's like, well, Maki's taking advantage of my gaps. Royal 100% is taking advantage of my gaps, right? It became like sometimes like it becomes like you have to confront the fact that like the gap has been closed, and clearly by that casual set, like what it was like 1-3, and then I won 3, and then we stopped playing or something. But I was like sweating bullets. I was like not having a good time, and I think everyone there could kind of tell, right? You just feel it,
Yeah.
right?
Mhm. It was
I
definitely.
could tell you had a lot on your
Listen.
mind. Yeah, for
Mhm.
sure.
How do you
That's cool.
feel?
I knew there was I knew something was up. I kind of figured. That's why I asked you when we was playing. Said like, "Are you okay?" You know, because I knew something was up from you.
Well,
I ain't know it.
it's not that something was wrong, right? It's just that the gap was closed. Like you did what you needed to do, right? You were your frame windows taking everything like pretty optimally. Your counter hit game was on point. I really struggled when you got into that space, and I didn't figure out the solution until after pools. But like clearly you worked on it, and clearly it paid off, right?
Yeah.
It's cool. That led to probably the most notorious moment of the whole tournament, Sam Show or not. Pretty sick.
The whole weekend, yeah, maybe.
Yeah, I hope they like, put a little frame around it, and a
We
little plaque. Be nice.
went viral for not the best reason.
I don't know. I thought it was awesome. I think it was great. I mean, you know, I'm obviously not 100% involved, but I thought it was sick.
I mean, yeah, it was hype. It
Yo,
was
like-
funny, and no one got hurt. But like,
Man.
yeah, for yeah, so a big deal. I'll just kind of explain. So we got to win it. We got to winners finals the first pool, and I you know, we had to play. So we played the first game. I picked Baiken, right? And I lost pretty convincingly. Like it wasn't good. Like I didn't really get that much started, and I had to round 2 burst. And I knew that like when I had to get to like the close footsies range, I had no answer. I knew I just couldn't play from there. Right? I knew like what I had on the table just wasn't enough, right? Like I was just getting like counter poke to death, space trap to death. I just wasn't getting anything, and I was just like walking slowly, not taking anything back, right? So I needed like an absolutely huge, like I needed like a revolutionary adjustment right there, which is what most people are not capable of doing. Or I needed some cheese, right? So that's when I went GSL. Because the logic was that like I could just not be in the space, beat him from the end of the screen. The problem with that is that GSL is kind of mid. Like she's a little hard. It's probably like I've flirted with GSL like a couple times over the years, right? But like she's definitely a little harder. Her normals are a bit awkward. She's got a lot of tools. And her zoning's a little
Very
weird.
evasive.
Sorry.
Evasive. Very evasive.
Mm-hmm. The biggest thing I realized in retrospect was what I should have done. Was I should have shot Umbrella to kill Dog. But
Yeah.
I kept shooting Petal by default, and I kept getting Dog traded really bad, and I kept getting into like the disadvantage scenario. And that's kind of like progressively, it's kind of what ended up killing me. And like when I played really, really scrambly in a way that was super desperate. But it was still like sometimes cheese pays off, and even though it's not clean, even though it's not like good play per se, sometimes it
was
just
still
works.
very competitive. Yeah, like
Yeah,
that
it
set was still like pretty back and forth, pretty edge of your seat stuff.
Yeah, it was literally down. It was like almost every last round, last game, last round, every game, right?
Yeah.
So
It was.
the last round, I got pushed into the corner. We were both orange. I was in the corner, so I was like, okay, well, I couldn't throw Umbrella because the risk was too high. Because I was assuming I would get counter explosion and then have to play against that. So one of the problems was like I should have just been more willing to toss. Because I was like limiting my game too hard, right? Because I couldn't beat Dog unless I tried to kill Dog, right? If I'm
Right.
always trying to kill Dog, then there's counterplay to that, right?
Yes, there is a counterplay to that.
Yeah, so like, so I was near the corner. So I actually was at pretty considerable disadvantage, not from health, but just from spacing, because I had to use explosion to try to force you back, right? So I did that. And then I got you to mid screen. And then I got to footsie range, because you didn't want to backdash because I could raw Eason you, right? Because it's Galford.
Right.
Right.
Wrong backdash.
So we got to mid screen. Then for whatever reason you did overhead crash.
That was not. I was not supposed to do that. I was trying to do 2D, but I was holding back. I was not trying to do that.
Yeah. And that would have been the game, but like this is the thing, right? It's like the matchup knowledge pays off. So Galford was falling. And I hit the Eason as soon as I left block stun, so he was still in the air.
Mm-hmm.
So I went right under, and then he had his Eason pop, so I got counter Eason, and then as soon as that hit, we had the most legendary pop off ever.
Oh man!
Full Psycho jumped up out of his chair, did the rounds in the room.
Yeah.
Did, like,
Seriously, like man,
Braun
I
Strowman.
never. Yeah.
Yeah, that was pretty awesome.
Kind of speaks for itself. That room was so loud and so many people. You got everyone to turn their head. I think that's pretty cool.
Hey, that's what I do.
No, it
That's
really
what
showed.
I
I
do,
mean,
man.
that passion was like really addictive. I mean, a lot of people, I think a lot more people tuned in for the top 4, after
Yeah.
hearing about how crazy it got in pools. And like that, it was like, yeah, the people, even though our game is small, even though it's like, kind of a lot of the same people competing, people care like a lot. People really care, and it's beautiful.
They do. They do.
Like you literally like I really resent how people say that like this is like a game that's not worth playing or like it's not a competitive game, because all you need to do is look at the events that are happening right in front of you, right? And you can see that what we've done is paid off. This is a serious game. We have a great competitive scene and that we've accomplished this, right? It's like, I feel like that makes certain people mad. And it's like, there's no, these people have to hold the fact that they're just wrong because you can't look at this and say that it doesn't matter. You can't look at this and say it doesn't care. Like, people didn't know the context that, like, how significant it is that Royal put me in losers. The last person to put me in losers was Andy. Combo Breaker 2023. It was a long ass time ago. So that's a pretty big deal.
Yeah, for people familiar with the scene too, like, you know, we know, we have an idea of the history of each player and their respective results, because, you know, it's a pretty tight-knit community, and it's just so cool to see the evolution of things. I know it all sounds really cliche, but damn it, it's true. It's cool.
Yeah.
As a story for, I feel like every game it could have a story like that. Like, who's anyone to say any game is really dead if you really dig deep down? It's like there's that moment for every game, and every game had, like, I feel like every side game had, like, people screaming their heads off at it, which it was a little annoying, I'll say, but, like, still, I mean, it's like, people, clearly there's something there for people, right? How can you say it doesn't matter, right? This reductive shitting. Actually, the only game it's okay to shit on is Blazing Strike.
Oh my god! Oh my god! How did that fucking game get in as a main game? I'm sorry. It's just.
I have an idea.
That's everybody said that. We didn't even have to know them. That's the thing. Is just by seeing, like, when you were running around, Royal, and everybody that was there waiting to play, people wanted to play casuals when we had it all set up, and they're like, why is this? A lot of people under their breath, I kept hearing people say, why is this not a main game? Why is this not a game? And you didn't even have to say it, and they're like, why is Blazing Strike a main game? Like, everybody was saying, I don't even know these people, but, like, you know, it's just, they're there playing their game, but then they see that they're saying Sam Show deserves to still be the main game. So it's just like, yeah.
Sure,
people speak, right? You know?
I think it's clear. The actual reason is clear. Here, I will Discord stream my screen and I'll let you guys see.
Okay.
I'll put it here. Just say it.
Where? Oh, I
just gotta say, never in my life would I expect Royal Cycle to do overhead crash on the easy duration.
There it is. There's the reason. Blazing Strike is the main.
Wait.
I saw somebody comment this on Twitter. They were like, "Why is Blazing Strike a main game?" And it's like, well, I think it's pretty clear. And it's like, well, you know what? It's not mean because they should feel bad, right? You know, it's supposed to be a tournament for the players. You go take a handout, a game that's not even finished because you want money from the publisher. Our game has to pay for it. Like, yeah, it's ridiculous. It's like people have the right to be upset. Like, it was like farcically horrible. It was as bad as you thought, or worse. Literally, the whole top 8 was people picking the wrestler dude, doing a command grab ED.
Yeah, the infinite.
Yeah,
unavoidable grab. Yeah. On wake up, and you just keep spamming it over and over.
And that's just
there's
one
no
thing.
way to tech it. Yeah, there's no way to tech it.
And there's no jumps have no throw involved, apparently. Like, being airborne doesn't make you throw involved in Blazing Strike, which is why that works. It's like ridiculous. And from what I hear, that's like
Oh,
it's like the tip of the iceberg in the game. Like there's so many basic 101 design flaws. So much that like people in the community that like they make indie games, they're like mad at the game. It's so unfinished and it costs $40 and it's like there's being mean and there's being right.
Yeah, and I believe the dev himself quote retweeted that saying, "I tried to get this patched, guys." But
Yeah.
It,
yeah.
did you? I'm sorry. I'm sorry.
Well, I'm sure he did, right? But like I think it's pretty clear the game's publisher, right, clearly had like a pretty negative impact on the game. And it's like that's kind of something pretty hard to overcome because they like tell you have to get your game out by this time. And it's like, well, we can't. Well, like, well, too bad. We gave you a release date. We gotta make our sales. That's kind of like it's like the monkey's paw that you choose to take. And it really now the game's never gonna recover. It's a laughing stock. All they did was ruin it just for the payout. It's really sad. Sad for every other game, and it's actually sad for that game because I thought it looked pretty cool and I thought it had a lot of potential, but clearly it was missing a leg, right? It just wasn't ready. So, that's the sad story of BS. It was some BS, if you want to put it that way.
Blazing.
It was some blazing BS.
Yeah. Tao was just mentioning about the unexpectedness of the overhead crash that ended up being the fateful accident that took that round. It was, yeah.
That's hella mind games. I thought he did it on purpose as a bait. That's why I nodded.
No, it wasn't. I feel like, but I think I know why you. I think I did. You think I did it on purpose? I think you did it as like for like you. The timing was off because you wanted that block. It whiffed on. It whiffed. If you would have blocked it, real timing, boom, you would have got me. But since you didn't block it and it whiffed, the timing was off.
Oh, I see.
But
Mm-hmm.
yeah. But once again, that was by accident.
Sometimes
Hey,
it's
man.
about happy accidents.
Yeah, it's better luck than good.
Lifetime.
Hey.
Like a once in a lifetime type of move during that situation alone. It's like, yo, it's like doing a freaking a replica teleport on the Eastern situation.
Yeah, the like
Oh.
scenario you expect to never happen, and then it happens to happen in tournament. Like the Murphy's Law.
Like, or
Oh,
it's
yeah,
like
yeah.
the whole new meaning of expect the unexpected. Golly.
Yeah, that was a little too unexpected.
The game is very
Yeah,
high risk,
work.
high reward, and it's a mind game, and like Scrub, you're saying you thought he meant to do it, and you just react on it, and that was how you reacted, and I guess paid the price, right, for the game, the way the mechanics work,
Yeah, like if I was like, because it's like the argument of mental stack, right? It's like not having more things mess with your mental than there needs to be, right? So
Mm-hmm.
I was like, while playing, I was also learning GSL. That's not good because you want your mental space to be about countering the other guy. And I felt like if I was even like 20% more in vogue, I could have pulled it off. But like, I did a meme pick, and the only reason I did it was because I beat him in a PS4 set. Like, I should have assumed he would be prepared, right? And even then, like, it almost worked, but like, that's kind of how it goes. It just works or it doesn't. And in a first to two, part of the skill is like making something work in as short time as possible.
Mm-hmm.
Like if I was like more, because the reason I did that was like I just wigged out, right? If I was less wigged out, maybe I wouldn't have done that, where I wouldn't have with my Eason. But it's also not really worth fussing about that much. People like sit in Twitch chat and they're like, "Oh, you could have punished that. You could have did this, whatever." It's like
You're not
Yeah.
there. You're
Yeah.
not there.
They're the
Yeah.
great advice, Twitch chatter.
yeah, like definitely
Really
a certain person is being pretty annoying, but it's like the game is supposed to be fast. That's why people drop things. Like if it was like if you were just sitting in training mode, pressing play record, yeah, you punish, but that's not how the game works. That's where the skill expression comes from in a fast-paced scenario. People react
You
to
have a
things and
split
make them
second.
work.
Yeah, you have a split second to react how you feel fit. But if you're on the keyboard, you're like, let me see how he could have punished that.
Actually, he could have done that. Like, come on, you're not there.
Yeah.
Seriously. You're not in the gym with us. Seriously, like
Yeah.
God.
Mhm.
Like you say you know the game. You say that you know the game. You say that could do this, could do that. Wrong. Like you're not facing me. You're not on freaking rank all the freaking time. You're not playing this game all the time. So a lot of things happen, but you don't experience it. So I don't know. Freaking critics, man.
a lot different when you're in the trenches and in the crowd.
Mhm.
It's getting a little too parasocial. Like, I don't know. It's like weird phenomenon. I feel like maybe just like I'm talking about something how I feel, right? I feel it's like I feel a bit more distant from people, right? It's like I'm on parade or something because I'm like the top player, so it's like people look at me as that, and it's like, no, I'm just a guy. It's not that serious. Like I really just want to play the game. So when people like make like weird comments, it's like kind of sad. Like I'm not some distant person. Like if people want to talk to me and say they want to play, I'll play them. I'm not playing for like validation or to get one over on people. I just want to play like everybody else. So it's just kind of annoying for people that I know personally to make certain like comments that are like patronizing, right? It's like it's just kind of inevitable, right? That I'm kind of this like community figure, and people kind of get weird about it, right? Like people act like I'm some big celebrity, and it's usually the people that like, not you guys, but the people that only follow the game at like a surface level, right? I was like, oh, you're the guy who's winning. Oh, you're the most consistent guy ever. And it's like, if you really followed the game, you well, no, that's not even really true. So it's like now I have this big microscope. It's like kind of a suffering from success type of deal.
Well, you're in the spotlight is really what it is, and
Yeah.
it's you can't move away from it because of right now it's like you have a target on your back. It's like people want to beat you. That's what it is.
Yeah.
Not a bad thing, but it's just kind of like holding the belt and boxing.
Yeah, right, that's exactly the point. That's we talked about that a little bit at Frosty's. It's Scrub Cybot's got to play the heel because he is the all poppy. So whoever is up against him is going to be the crowd favorite, especially Rose Psycho, who definitely was an underdog coming into this.
That was the story. They had the whole Chicago SNK group backing him. You could feel it in the room. I could feel
There's a small room.
You could like see me smirking on stream and stuff. Like I knew I was playing against it, right?
Yep. Definite Rock Austin type of moment.
Yeah.
Not in a hostile way though, too. It's
Oh, yeah,
that's
no.
what people need to understand too. It's
It's all
not like
hugs, right.
yeah.
Yeah.
We all went out
Yeah.
for beers and wings and food and all that, you know. So, yeah. But during the match, obviously that's exactly what it is. It's it's come down to this. It comes down to your, in the end, everybody's fighting for the qualifier, right? So it's like it's the stakes are a lot, like as you said, are a lot higher than just being another tournament. There's a lot.
Yeah.
A lot of
important.
The energy was very different. You could feel it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
Because like I
Definitely
noticed
was.
like it became obvious that Maki was avoiding casuals on purpose, and I was just like, well, I'm disappointed and I don't agree, but I understand. And like there was a lot of risk, like financially actually, because there was a lot of money, and whoever loses is gonna have to pay to go somewhere else, right? And
Mm-hmm.
yeah, it's hard. That's part of the meta too. Is like what events. This is a thing for every pro tour, right? Like what events can you go to? And does somebody that has more bread, do they have do they have like a competitive advantage? Because I'm gonna be real, it's like an I can't afford to lose situation. It's like Luffy trying to stop Lucci from killing the crew. He had to win there. He couldn't. He didn't have the luxury of being able to lose and come back. Like I can go to Casablanca. That's 100% not happening. And I kind of just even this trip I wasn't gonna go, just because money is a bit tight. And while I'm not like in some really bad position, it's like, well, I'm not exactly in a position to go flying around the world or flying even across the US that much. So it would have been very, very inconvenient. Yeah. But it worked out, at least for me. And then unfortunately other people have to deal with the problem now. That's the cost of it. Yeah. Yeah. It's hard. Your own friends are your own enemies, and they have to. Your success comes at their expense. Like,
yeah, that's. I mean, we're all part of the same community, and obviously we all want to see each other succeed, but we all want to succeed as well.
Aki and I talked about it a bit. Actually, it was like we weren't really talking to each other that much early in the tournament, and I could kind of notice he was being a little quiet. And I was like, okay, I kind of knew this was how it was gonna be. And it was like, I know how you are, and it's like, well, it's like there's a lot going in, but at the end of the day, it's like whatever happens, we're still gonna be friends. But this tournament took a pretty huge mental toll on me. I wasn't really in that great of a place, to be honest. The weeks leading up to it, I literally I sat there the night before, and before I flew out, and I was just like, I don't know if I want to keep doing this. That's what I said. But I got there and I got through all the bullshit, like the shitty venue, the side game room, not being able to get the casuals I wanted to get to, because I played a bunch, right? But I basically just played the sort of unit 85% of the time, and it's like that's fine, right? But there's other people here. I kind of want to play the other favorites to win, right? And it's like, yeah, I was a little annoyed. But I actually it was interesting because outside of the Frosty Faustings, the actual event, which I didn't really enjoy that much this year, to be honest, I got to the bracket itself and I had a lot of fun, which I wasn't expecting. So it was kind of worth it in a way. Even if I didn't win, I kind of felt like it was good, right?
Yeah, the good part was good. It was really good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was good.
If anything, I felt it's kind of weird, even though like how we were treated there, but I felt good about the fact that I got to capture our stuff and wasn't questioned for it. You know, like
Yeah.
because of I kept asking beforehand, like, what do I need to do, and like I didn't even know if it was right for me to stream. To tell you the truth. I mean, a recording is one thing, but to actually live stream it, I mean, once I figured somebody was doing it, I'm like, hey, can I do this? And like, I had the logos that they needed me to put up there, and there was nothing else. And I was like, okay, so that kind of, it felt good to be able to handle that. So that was my main focus when I was there too. It's like really getting to capture this qualifier leading up to the top four, because of it's just sad, not being able to see that. And
Yeah.
there was definitely a lot of people who tuned in, and my channel will be back up, but like everything will be is on YouTube right now. So
I mean, it was for the best. You got a lot of great footage. Now it's all recorded for historical reasons. I think that's kind of like a big thing in our community, is that we've kind of like come up short with like preserving footage, but you did a great job, and it matters a lot to people that like care a lot about the game. So I think you should be proud of that.
Thanks. Thank you.
Thanks.
Basically, taking matters into your own hands.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, no problem. I really do a lot of this stuff for you guys. I love the game. I see the passion you guys do for it. So yeah, I mean, I love playing the game too, but most and foremost, I kind of like, I've always wanted to create a comfortable environment for people to play with, like no tension, no, that's what I try to promote. I don't want anybody to have hard feelings. Like we're all here to play the game, right? And that's part of the reason. I know it sounds funny, but like as I told you guys, like that's part of the reason why I just leave profanity off, because everybody takes text as a when you read text, you can kind of take it harsh if you don't know the inside jokes or anything like that too. So you can take things the wrong way when somebody didn't really mean to say it that way, because, and especially when it's in like profanity, because it just sets off another I don't know, I guess emotion in your head when you see it that way, because I don't know. But anywho, yeah, I'm glad that you guys appreciate it, and that's what I do it for you guys. Want to preserve all of this. This is history. We all are in it together. So yeah.
Well,
Yeah, it's good to point to.
I said it there. Sorry, you can go.
And I was just saying, y'all did good.
Yeah, it goes without saying. I said it there and I meant it. You guys, Frosty and Callie, you guys are the center of the scene. You guys are the bedrock. Everything you do is for everybody else. Completely selfless. And everything we've been able to hold down. It's large part thanks to everything you've done. Your passion is incomparable. The opportunities you've given for us are inarguable. There's really I could just praise you guys for an hour. I couldn't get it across enough how much we appreciate you. So
even as simple as the weekly Wednesday and Friday lobbies, just I don't know, they make the game feel really alive, because there's always a crowd there. And it's twice a week, and there's always people lining up to play, and it definitely feels vibrant and really full of life.
it feels like a local.
Yeah.
Way to put it.
Yeah.
Nice.
And it's like when we go have like had that dinner at like every year at Ale House, and it's like this is like the locals going out for K barbecue after the weekly, right? That's largely the same experience. You can tell, you can see crowds there, and it's like other groups. They're getting the same thing, and that's basically what you've done. You've like made the scene for us, given us a place to congregate, given the game a chance to like spread its wings. And I think it's something pretty beautiful. It's an amazing accomplishment. It's like I wish more people knew about the game, because it's like I feel like you could just make a Core A gaming video about us, right?
A what video?
Core A Gaming, he's like a documentarian. He makes a lot of FGC, like well-produced like mini docs. One of the more famous
You need to watch, like, a
YouTubers.
while back. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, we try to keep it alive for as long as it is too. And it's like, it's funny. I don't think about it really too much like that. I just like, I just continue to play the games that we love, and or support it. And when people say, as you say, if someone says the game is dead, it's like, any game is dead if you're not playing it, but I mean, to the people who are playing it, it's very live, so, and that's what makes it what it is. And it's I definitely, any new person, that we see out there that starts the game, we're like, oh, you're instantly my friend. It's like, let me hound this guy. Or not hound them, but like, I'm like, oh, let me add them right away. Let me send all these invites to everybody. That's what I do. It's like I want to get everybody together and playing the game. So, and
overall, the game's public perception, I feel overall is pretty good. I think during Frosty, there's a lot of Twitter buzz around Samurai Shodown and the goings on.
Man.
But a lot of people just piped in and were like, damn, I love this game. Man, this game's awesome. Wow, Samurai Shodown. What a great game. And obviously, there's a lot of love for it out there, but just not as many people playing.
A lot of appreciators and not as many players.
Man, even Bolt Strike, him was the most surprise for me.
That was pretty cool.
The way he yeah, but man, that was up.
Yep,
man.
Him and Rome himself definitely pumped up Sam's show and got a very positive reception, which was
me
great.
Screaming my head off for 3,000 likes. It works. It's paying off. You can't say, like, just the fact that this was a qualifier and how much that meant, and how passionate we were. It like we went viral with this event. Like,
I mean,
it's all paying off. Like
the wall, the wall to that point. It's like that's a lot of emotion. And how many people took pictures next to the the famed wall now, and and they're like, oh, this is how passionate you get when you play Sam Show.
Oh, that's the narrative.
It's that hype.
Yo.
Yeah.
That's yo. Hey, you are the hype.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, like how could anyone ever say it wasn't worth it? Even all the frustration. Yeah, I'm not gonna lie, it's been pretty frustrating. I think kind of goes without saying that the way this Pro Tour announcement was handled was not the best, and I think even the people that were really passionate, they're kind of just like, hey, what the heck is going on? Right?
Yep.
That hit me just now. So, what was it? they announced it around like less than a month before Frosty Frosting?
Yes.
Mhm.
Okay, yeah. That's a bit
Right.
ugh.
Yeah, it's really tough for international, which is why Guppy ended up not being able to make it.
Yeah. Yeah, that's what he
Oh,
told
That,
me was
They
that
that
is,
like,
announced
that is
that
a bit
Samurai Showdown was going to be a part of the SWC back in September, but then there was like a gap with not a lot said. So it
yeah.
was like September, and then you're in October, and then November, and then December. So basically, there's a couple months with no talks about Sam Show at all. Nobody kind of knew what was going on, if it really was part of the SWC or
All we
not.
had was a
Yeah.
poster to go off of. Yeah,
Yeah.
flyer.
I
Yeah, it's hard. It's
seriously,
like,
I don't.
go ahead.
Yeah, it's like seriously, like you announce something. Oh, we're gonna be part of it. Cool. When? Seriously, like I don't know what type of planet this is, because this is remember, this is SNK's MO. Like for the KOF qualifier, the first qualifier was that combo breaker, but they sent it off too late.
Yeah.
And I don't like it. I don't like it at all. Like, y'all are coming back. Y'all coming back in a good way. And yet y'all still have this problem.
I mean, yeah, it makes it hard. Like, even well off people, right? Like, it's hard to get off work, right?
Well,
When
not
you
only
only
that,
have
it's also a buzzkill. Like, I think it's kind of like you're paying attention so much to something, waiting to hear something, and then 2 months is it's a long time to wait, and then you kind of lost it by that point. Like, all your expectations and hopes are kind of like, and then it's like, I mean, I'm excited, and I'm feeling a little more, better now that there has been at least one SWC qualifier. So it puts me in a more comfortable spot. Like, I just feel like it's real, at least. You know what I mean? Like, I didn't feel like it was real until
yeah.
there was at
Yeah.
least a qualifier.
Yes.
Man.
But now that there has been a qualifier and there was exciting stuff that happened between, the matches and the players and how it went, I definitely am excited for it now. I'm not going to get my hopes up thinking that it's like in March or anything. But it's in 2025 and we can expect it in 2025. So at least I've got something solid now, I like that we have something solid. It's
Yeah.
not solid as a rock, but it's at least it's getting there. So
We know
I feel a little
we
better.
know a tournament will eventually happen, and some people are qualifying
Yeah,
for it at the very least.
yeah. And you have a plaque to prove it. So
Well,
Mhm.
a couple people got plaques the last time, and then it didn't end up
wait,
happening.
it doesn't it say SWC qualifier?
It does, but I'm talking about like when COVID hit
Yeah,
and
the last.
ruined it the last
Yeah.
time.
Oh. Okay. Gotcha.
Yeah. Well, the
Mm.
pandemic jacked that up, unfortunately, for the whole world. And yeah,
So as long
we
as we
would
don't
take
get
another.
as long as we don't get COVID-2 electric boogaloo, I think we're good to go.
Yeah.
We should,
Yeah.
yeah, we should be good. Hopefully.
Knock
Yeah.
on wood.
I mean,
I
there's
mean,
no,
the fact that Samurai Showdown actually, went through one and didn't happen, and then we were getting a second one. A lot of people, they don't really know about Sam Show, but Sam Show is pretty, it's up there in terms of the fighting game. Like, it's
Mhm.
not as I don't even know the word I'm looking for, but
It's not
it's
mainstream.
a well-known game. So
That it's definitely a niche thing, but like,
it's getting attention. I mean,
yeah. I sat down and I played games with a couple of people that were brand new to it, and they said, "Here, Tim, teach me how to play this game." I'm like, "Okay, sure." And they were enjoying it, and they're like, everybody always said to try this game, and now I see why. I'm seeing the mechanics. I'm seeing this, and I'm seeing that you basically everything's kind of simple to pull off, but it's like you're pushing buttons, you're making a mistake, and you're also doing the right thing at the same time. So they were seeing it. There's just several people, and yeah, and they actually, even from just playing with certain characters, they're like, this character isn't banned. I'm like, no, they all take that much damage, especially if you punish somebody on when you're doing a punish, it's a real punish. That damage will basically take them to like 25% health. It's like they're like, dang. But yeah.
Actually, I really like what you said, Scrub, on your picture that you wrote, and I kind of wanted to read it if it's okay.
You there, Scrub?
Oh, I think.
I'm
he's
sorry.
muted.
I stepped away briefly. Yeah, you can. I have no problem with that. I'm just gonna.
Okay, I'll read the second half. So, basically, what he said is that when people say Sam Show is dead, I want them to think. I want them to think about how we saved this game using every solution imaginable, including Parsec cloud server lobbies, delay-based online tournaments, community-ran offline events, Xbox Fighters Discord lobbies, and whatever else allowed us to somehow play the game. I want them to see how we have thrived and created a world-class competitive scene in a game with a microscopic player count. I want them to see the hype, the passion, the love, and the fruits of our labor that are impossible to deny. I want them to see and know that they are wrong because we have embraced death. I'll see you at the World Championship Finals. And I just, it's kind of like we said earlier, you can't say a game is dead if you're playing it all the time. So that's why, like, if anybody asks me, I won't say the game is dead. It's not dead. I play it all the time. Whenever I want to play it, I play it. It's at majors. It's at all these events. There's even tons of locals that are starting up. People are positive about Sam Show. Everything I hear about Sam Show, I'm hearing good things. People are excited to play it. I'm seeing people that have just kind of recently got the game and they're getting so much better after picking up and playing like twice a week in the lobbies, and it's really impressive to watch and see how the game has grown. And I'm not really even like big into most fighting games. It's just Sam Show. I really love Sam Show, and to see how far it's come and it gets attention. It really gets attention. A lot of people don't think it does, but honestly, this game was out for years, and then it got an enhanced edition, and then it got rollback, and then it got another SWC. There's a lot of things happening for this game, so
Yeah,
I just wanted to
objectively.
put it in there.
Like, you can, like, call it a dead game, but there's things, like, you can't deny. Like, we objectively are getting pretty good numbers. Like, for a side game, maybe not for a main game, but we're one of the most entered side games at events. I think.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
I think it was just like, it was like, I think for this event, it was just Idle Showdown. And I think it was just Idle Showdown and a couple other games that were higher. Might have just been only Idle Showdown and Windjammers, I think. But we're 49. That's really, really good for a Vortex Gallery game.
Yeah, that's close to Evo numbers. Sort of close.
It's actually pretty nice, to see some players at this event that I've heard their names and actually seeing them and playing them was really cool. Like, to see, because I'm like, oh, this guy's a new player, but he's been playing a lot, and I'm like, wow, okay, it's nice to see that. Like, like Daigo too. I know he's been doing a couple of the lobbies and stuff, and I got to play against that guy, and it was fun. I would say that was a pretty fun Kazama brothers fight. It was Sagetsu, and he was Kazuki. And then it was funny because before I was going to play him, I'm like, I forgot who this guy uses, and I was like, I'm going to use Kazuki. And then when I seen him pick him, I'm like, okay, that's pretty dumb. Let's just have a Kazuki fight or a Kazama fight then. It's like to me, it's like, yeah, it was fun. It was really fun. So
That's cool. I mean, that's how you get people in. That's how I met you guys. I joined the Discord first, and
yeah,
was there for a few years ago, and now I'm hanging out with you guys and during the tournaments and stuff. So it was,
you're fairly just picked up the game pretty much recently too, right? And not super recently.
I played it. I played in as soon as it came out. I played for a long time, but then I quit after Shizumaru came out, just because I couldn't stand the online. So
That's how it goes.
Yeah.
But then rollback came around. I believe it was December 22 is when they started doing testing, and got right back in, and it's been great. It's given me something like, it's a real hobby. Like, I've never been to a major besides Evo, and definitely the SWC qualifier. I didn't expect to place or to qualify, but I wanted to go and give it a shot because, it's kind of historical. And that's this game. This game is what got me to fly to Chicago. It's awesome.
Yeah, that's nice to hear.
That's what it's all about.
Yeah,
and you guys, of course. And you guys.
Yep.
Yeah, that's another thing. This game actually brings in players from around the world, and you can't say that about all the games. I don't think you can.
Yeah. Who's flying in?
We got Omega Mad from UK.
Yep.
Oh man, that dude's dope.
Yeah.
Pretty chill guy. I appreciate
Got
it.
us the Mad if you're out there.
Pretty chill.
Man, I love this accent.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know if you remember, but yeah, he was always on the East London Fighters back in the day. You remember that, Royal? Like, I believe, because he was there, he was equivalent to Cotier, but in the UK. That's because he was a really good Earthquake at one point. And so
oh yeah,
that's who he played with. He plays with Earthquake, and he was. He did a couple of their events. I don't know if you probably watched everything, right? Like me and Kelly watched a lot of stuff during the pandemic and stuff. And London side, it was East London Fighters. They're no longer around, but they were the premier. They were the best streamers during the pandemic, basically.
I think it was Lord Grimulus. Is that who it was? That
yeah.
He was the one who ran it.
Yeah. They had their own offline.
A big KOF player too.
Yeah. And that's where I guess like Cillian Lemieux and those other guys, Vlair, and they all had an offline, and that's where it was. It was East London Fighters. So that's where he's from.
Okay.
They all got together there. So I mean, I'm sure you could find some videos of them still. So they could see.
Yeah, I gotta look them up.
Yeah. Like me and Kelly really look at everything. We've looked at I think it's just our background. Like we're always trying to find fighters, I guess, like from Brazil to anywhere. We like to, this game is kind of that thing where you want to see how each country or each region plays with their character. It's very interesting, It's like it's like a boxing match or an MMA match. Like you want to see the style that these people bring, like from aggressiveness or from passiveness, and it actually shows each region like how they play. So
yeah. Sweet. The real World Warrior stuff.
Man, Man, I want to be that. I want to face everybody. I want to face everybody.
Oh, yeah. That's what it's about.
Yeah.
My dream is that at SWC we have exhibition matches with everyone. Like I really want like first to tens with like the overseas people, or we do like a
Yeah.
like a
Okay.
like a NA versus Japan 5v5 or 10v10, like some crazy team tournament. Because like I've sort of dreamt of that for years, but we've never had really had an opportunity.
That Kelly
Yeah, I've
looks
already
like.
started working on that actually.
Yeah.
Ooh.
But obviously, we need to know when and where it's going to be, because if it's not in the U.S., I don't know what's going to happen. But
Yeah, because that's
if
gonna
it's
make it
Well-
hard.
here,
for
that
people.
I'm working on something.
Yeah. Well, that's the thing is we do have friends from all over the world, so I'm already working on that. Where, yeah, but there are some regions where I definitely don't know anybody, and that's gonna make it hard. And yeah, we'll see.
Okay.
Yeah, that's exciting stuff.
That'd be cool.
Very
Yep.
exciting.
What a team exhibition.
Yeah,
Yeah,
lots,
I'm
look
excited
forward
just
to.
thinking about it.
Mhm.
It's like
Yeah.
sounds.
I just
you
wish we
know.
had details so we could plan, but can't
Yeah,
ask
we're in
for too
limbo.
much, I guess.
Yeah,
Yeah. But
it's hard being an SNK fan, right?
That's
Yeah.
it's always gonna be a thing.
Well,
Yeah.
we're not too far off from City of the Wolves releasing. So with any luck, maybe once that's out the door, they'll have a little more time and resources to pay attention to Sam Show. But we'll see.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, at the very least, there's some things you could assume. I think probably at the minimum there'll be 8 spots.
Yeah,
Or at
that's
least
what
I
I'm-
think anything less than that would be pretty silly. So I think it's pretty easy to assume what event will be the next NA qualifier. Then there's probably I think Japan will have at least 2 spots. I think they should have like maybe even a couple more. Europe's getting its spot,
Mhm.
or even potentially one more, and then I think Brazil absolutely should have its own tournament. But
Correct. I think
course.
South America needs that. Yeah, for sure. Definitely.
but even then, it's up in the air because most of those guys don't have visas. So it's like, well, how are we gonna get them out if they can't make it into to the U.S. to play? It's a lot of ambiguity in a bad way, but hopefully we hash it out soon.
Yeah, I mean, to possibly give SNK some credit, I mean, that might have something to do with it. If they're trying to organize like international travel and stuff like that, it's just tough thing
Yeah.
to do.
Yeah.
Yeah, if you have somebody vouching for you and paying your way, it's a lot easier to get approved. An actual company telling you. I mean, but we know if they take that effort to say, "Hey, yes, this is the qualifier," blah blah blah. They speaks to their their government. It makes it easier rather than they're trying to think that they're coming for other purposes. But if they're coming for attorney backed by an actual company, it usually looks better, so hopefully they do all that.
I hope so.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Lots to look forward to. Great time was had. Very high impact, memorable event. And things are looking pretty good for us. And thank you for joining us on this journey. It's great seeing you guys.
Yeah, likewise.
Yeah, great seeing you too.
Anytime, homie, anytime.
Mhm.
Yeah.
So, in the absence of further business, thank you everybody for joining us tonight. Thank you to everybody in the community who's been paying attention to my content. I've been meaning to like take more of a content creator role when I'm not competing as hard, especially since some of my tweets have gotten like pretty amazing mileage. Like some of them have been close to like 500 likes. And I'm just happy to do what I can to help the game. So yeah, thanks for tuning in. However you guys want to keep playing, main Discord, Xbox, PS4, however it goes. Just thank you for supporting the game. Thank you for tuning in. And have a great night. This is Scrub Cybot. Thank you for joining us for the 10th episode of No Recoil.